Good evening. Welcome to Full Time Reds. It finished Liverpool 2, Newcastle 1. I've had about 3 heart attacks. I've lost my rag with Kev. I basically screamed the house down when it went to 2-1. So I'm actually in the spare room tonight because I've woke the whole house up. So all in all, up the fucking Reds. But Kev,
I'm on the cans. Have it.
I'm on the cans too. But Kev, fuck me, mate. That was a slog. By the way, sorry, I'm Chris. This is Kev.
Hey.
You must know by now it's always us two at full time. So, Kev, how you feeling?
Oh, mate, I tell you what, there's nothing beats a late winner. Absolutely nothing beats a late winner. And for the shithousery that they tried to put on in the second half, with players getting cramp at 70 minutes and Pope doing his best Jordan Pickford impersonation of diving on every ball, every goal kick taking like a minute and a half. You know, it was exactly what they deserved, because the irony is they were very good in the first half. And if they'd stuck to their guns and carried on playing the way they were playing, they had every chance of running out winners. But they went into their shell, we forced them back, and we were the only side looking to win that game, and we absolutely deserved it. 100% deserved it.
Jamie Ho, my son had to go to bed fuming. It's when he run downstairs when me and his mum was screaming.
Jamie, you're a terrible parent for sending your son to bed on a game night. What's the matter with you, boy?
I know.
The poor boy's going to have no values when he grows up in life.
I know. Right. We'll come back to the goal. We'll save that best to last, because you may have quite some disagreements in this game. So,
oh yeah,
we'll go into that. Lineups. So, Liverpool lineup unchanged. No real surprise. I think I'd said last night I thought Tsimikas for Robbo just for a bit of rotation, and I think you'd said Carvalho for Elliott because we weren't sure if Elliott would be fit. But to be fair, if you win 9-0, go with the same 11 is not the worst idea.
11, don't you? Yeah.
Newcastle 11, a little bit more surprising. So no Gimaresh, which we knew. No St. Max, we knew. Trippier was fit, we knew. Both their starting centre backs are on the bench. So it's Lascelles and Dan Burn. Now listen, Dan Burn, I think is brilliant as a centre back, and he's just quite a good left back. So it's a bit like, oh, okay. Lascelles, I'm not a fan of. But
I got a bit of a theory on this, right? And I think that Newcastle went for basically the same back four and keeper, bar the keeper, sorry. But the same back four that got them to where they were at the end of last season through experience. They went for a workman-like midfield because that's what they had available to them. And I honestly think that Fraser over St. Max gives them more structure in the way that they played. It made them harder to play against.
But at least with Taggart and Trippier, you've got two very attacking fullbacks.
Yeah.
So it does give you the option of the game plan's quite simple.
Yeah.
Bit like we do. Get it out to the fullbacks now, but they've got the target man there.
Yeah.
And we'll come on to Isaac because he was brilliant. Really, really good. They're mean, listen, newsflash. I mean, let's face it, it's probably no new to anyone, but there's some hell of a player they've got there, and he's probably not even 100% fit yet. So, we'll see.
I looked at that starting 11 for Newcastle, and remember what I said last night? You guys were all saying they'll sit back and they'll soak up the pressure and they're playing. I was having none of it, because I honestly think that Eddie Howe has set up a way of playing, and he's not going to bend it for anyone. Look at what he did with Man City. The fact that he went and pressed them high up the pitch to disrupt them and try to win the ball. He did exactly the same against us. They were organised in their pressing and where they wanted us to play and how they wanted us to play. They were really good and high energy in the first half. And that's not to say that we didn't have chances in the first half either. You know, it was just, I honestly think the way they set up with that 11 was exactly how I thought they would play tonight. And they were really good in the first half. They were effective in what they did without being overly threatening, because I don't think Alisson had much to do. But it was just one of those that we were not as aggressive. We didn't match up their aggressiveness in the first 20 minutes, I don't think.
Which, to be honest, has been an issue, probably apart from the Bournemouth game, still been an issue. Storm says, a weakened Newcastle team and we struggle big time. Lots of slow passing and hoof balls again. Well, of course, you and me were in a WhatsApp conversation heavily, and I was very critical of the pace of the passing. And the one thing I will say is, it just one midfield that fixes these problems. Some of these problems we've got, which we're going to bring on in a minute. We'll talk about the goal.
We'll just get through the comments there as well in a minute.
Yeah. But Bonker says Trent missed pass for the first goal. It is a mispass. It's a terrible pass. But what annoyed me more is Van Dijk goes out because he has to get to the wide man to close the cross down, which, to be fair, he hasn't been asked doing for about 3 games. So at least he did that. Yeah. They try and cut it back. Henson tries to cut it out. He gets a toe in it. He doesn't get enough control, which falls perfectly to Longstaff. Where I got a bit pissed off, and at first I thought it was Van Dijk, when I've seen the replay, Fabinho becomes the centre-back. So he's basically got himself in the right position. But then instead of being a centre-back, because Van Dijk's out of position, he's out of position because he's had to follow his runner, he should drop with Isak, and he doesn't. He presses the ball, which then makes the pass a lot easier for Isak. Now listen, Isak, lovely touch, cracking finish. You know, if you're in Newcastle, if roles reverse, that's us, you're going, great slide rule pass, brilliant touch, brilliant finish. But it's a Liverpool channel, so we're going to look at us. So the Trent ball isn't great, and I don't think Fabinho positionally gets himself right, because I think he needs to stay as a centre-back and drop, because he took Van Dijk's position, because Van Dijk took his runner as he should do. So that was really frustrating. But if I'm honest, Kev, I thought we were slow first half. We were quite ponderous. The only real big chance we had was the Diaz one, where he snatches at it. It's a great ball by Firmino, and Elliott's great in the build-up. But you were just watching it going, Trent wasn't at the races, Robertson wasn't at the races, Van Dijk was, if I'm honest, a bit languid.
Hang on 1 second. I just want to. Kev Ball there is having a massive pop at Henderson. In the goal, he's the only one I feel sorry for, because he tried to play the ball. He tried to get a touch on the ball and intercept it. He was unlucky that he got a touch to it, because if he didn't, he's in line and that ball can't get through. Mm-hmm. When he gets the touch on it, he's taken out of the line, and Isak has to score from there. You know, I'd have been fuming if a forward didn't score from there if it was the other end. He's the only one I see in that situation that can say, look, I did my best to try and do something, and it just got a toe on it. It was just unlucky that he got a toe on it. But
for Fabinho, that's what he's
once the pass is made from Longstaff into Isak, there is no time. You're talking, it's split seconds. You might get lucky to get a stretch on a leg, but it's just one of those. Once someone comes out of the line, you're done for. It's as simple as that. And it all stems back to, if Trent is going to play that ball, and he plays it dozens of times in a game, that's what can happen if you don't make the pass, because everyone is out of position on the strength of it. You know, it's just one of those. It's unfortunate. You know, I'm sure it's just the way he passes the ball. It looks lazy. I'm certain it's not. No one goes out of their way to make a lazy ball, but it's what can happen if it goes sideways.
Yeah,
and that was the only chance that they had. Really, that was it. In 98 minutes, that's pretty much all they did.
Well, no, they had an early shot, didn't they? But he took it over. But the other thing with Trent was he wasn't on it attacking wise today. I think his passing was really off, and I think it's easy. Look, everyone says it's easy in hindsight. He thinks I'm some lad who's sitting on YouTube, but keep it simple. Don't keep going for the long spray pass if it's not coming off. You know, Gerrard was always saying that was his thing. He was talking about McAllister. If you give it away, next one, keep it simple, keep it simple, keep it simple. Basically, get your confidence back up with your couple of quick short passes, then ping it long, because then you used to.
There was a few
if
things.
2 or 3 have gone off, don't do it again. You know, I mean, look, he wasn't the only one. They were all pretty off it. Emmett's saying, as soon as we start to do 1 and 2 touch football, we look unreal. When it's slow, when we slow it down, we give them time to reset back to an 8. We do, and that's the frustration, because the only chance we really created in that half was the Diaz chance, and that was 1-2 touch football, quick football. Fabinho wasn't as deep. Firmino wasn't as deep for that chance. I mean, Firmino first half for me was too deep, and that's a bit frustrating, because again that meant, because he was so deep, Diaz and Salah were like poles apart. They were like nowhere near each other, which is the problem we've seen in Fulham. Was the problem we've seen not so much United. In United, they were just all shit. Palace, to a sense, second half we seem to address that, but got them two closer together, and I don't know why. Some people are saying it's almost a bit like we're playing for the big number 9, but the big number 9's not there. He's sat in the stands because he headbutts people. So
it's. I mean, the one thing I would say, there was a couple of instances in the first half with Trent where he was tracking back and he got back well and he made some really good interceptions. It wasn't all disastrous. It's just going the other way. You expect that little bit more from him, and he just didn't deliver tonight. But when he got hooked, it was the right decision. You know, it needed to happen.
He was actually, him and Robson are actually more hindrances attacking wise than defensively. Defensively, on the whole, we were all right.
I thought we were good.
But attacking wise, both fullbacks attacking wise, I thought were pretty average. So
I think people underestimate this Newcastle side. Honestly, these are a really good side.
John makes a very good point here. We just need to keep grinding. Sorry, we just need to keep grinding out wins until we get more fluid, which is true. Ultimately, if you that's what. Listen, you and me both have both said, I'll just take any win. You know. So sorry, mate, you were talking.
Yeah, no. What I was going to say, I can't even lost my track now. But it was. I was just looking at some of the comments there. Actually, one there asking what we think of the offside goal.
We'll cover that in the second half. I've got that. We'll cover that in the second half. We'll do the second half.
Offside. It
was
just
about the defense. There is a question mark to come from there. To be honest,
I don't think so. See, I mean, what I was going to get at, I think this is a really good Newcastle side. Okay, I think that they're going to be thereabouts in the top 6 shake-up. When everything evens itself out, they're a very difficult side to beat in the way that they've been playing since in this calendar year, since January. They're a very difficult side to beat. And we saw that tonight. And we saw why. They're hard to get at. And once you get at them, you have to take your chances. And we had a couple of good chances tonight. Some half chances as well. But eventually we got the 3 points and we got the win. So I can't be too doom and gloom about it, because I think down the road, we're going to look at these 3 points and look at who we took them off and be like, yeah, that's a good 3 points there.
Yeah, I mean, look, these have already taken 2 points off City.
You say it's a weakened side. That is the same back five the same back four with a better keeper that got them to the third best points tally in the second half of the season last year. They're after bringing a £60-odd million striker up front who looks an absolute player, and you've got a midfield 3 who know their job inside out and were willing to break their backs to do it. They're a hard side to play against, and we're very good at talking ourselves up when we win and we're really good. You have to tip your hat to the opposition sometimes and just say, look, lads, they're a good side. So the fact that we took 3 points off them, it's not to be sniffed at. And sides that come to Anfield, they can be good and they can have moments in games. But over the whole game, I think we had like 70-odd% possession, 24 shots, and for the last 30 minutes, we were the only side trying to win it. Do you know what I mean? That's my take from the whole game. It's not like, we didn't deserve the 3 points. Over the 98 minutes of the game, we absolutely did. It's just the fact that it came in the 98th minute to get it.
Yeah, MCS, Chris, I think for both of us, to be fair. What do you guys think the cause was as to why we didn't beat these by more and essentially struggled? Do you want to say it's Kev, or do you want me to give my take?
No, you crack on. I think I've just said why. I think they're just a bloody good side. They're hard not to crack. I
think there is that element. I think you're right. I think we do sometimes get caught in the bubble of they're all shite, we're all great. That sort of stuff, and it's very hard not to get caught in that. My reason is we didn't get round them is they were very well organised. Is we moved the ball too slowly, and I think we moved the ball too slowly for about 50 minutes. And it was really pedestrian. And when it's that slow and pedestrian, it's easier for them to get into position and then pick the pace off. Because they still, although they didn't have to take Max, they still have pace with Murphy, Isaac. Almiron's a tricky player. So, and I think that's been the frustration for most of the games is we're starting too slow and we're passing it too slow. Some of that is the midfield. We can have the debate about the midfield. I'm sick of debate about the midfield. The midfield we have is the midfield we have. And unless it miraculous happens tomorrow, that's what we're going to have. So we're going to have to find a way around this. My personal opinion is we should only ever play 2 of Henderson, Fabinho, Thiago, Keita, Milner. Only 2 of them should play, and then we play at least one more attacking option. Which at the moment, the man who's got the shirt is Elliott, and that gives us the flair because he's the one who actually gives us a little bit more impetus. I think Henderson's going through I think he's going through a blip. I think he's going for a good spell. But I'll be honest, Fabinho still passing wise for me is too slow, and I don't know how you tell him to pass it quicker. But I think that's my thing is we're not passing it quick enough. And first half, Bobby was dropping too deep like he did at United, which then made Diaz and Salah poles apart that they couldn't interlake. And when they're poles apart, it's so easy to double up and Salah them.
But you say about moving the ball quickly. If Bobby's that deep, who are you hitting up front? Dan Burn is 6'27". You know what I mean? It's like you can't put it up into the air. You have to hit it through feet into the ground. And you got to give the devil their due. Kieran Trippier was really good. And Dan Burn has got legs that are like...
Yeah, but maybe if Firmino's going to drop that deep to link play, then you need the third man runner, which is either Elliott.
This is where we fell out at half time because you thought Elliott was really good in the first half. I thought he was completely anonymous.
I said he was the best one. I think the phrase was he was the best one. To be fair,
I thought he was. I thought the game passed him by. You know what I mean?
I think the reason I thought he was good is the few times we got him on the ball, I thought he had the most impetus of a clever pass because Trent and Robbo's passes weren't coming off. Fabinho and Henderson were very safe. Yeah. And because it was so slow, every time Salah got the ball, he was doubled up on. And every time Diaz got the ball, he was doubled up on. So we kind of created our own problems, if you know what I mean. I think Emma also brought up about the time wasting is the officials do need to get on top of it. I agree with it. Because listen, I don't blame Newcastle for time wasting because why wouldn't you? If you're 1-0 up at Anfield or you're 2-0 up against City, why wouldn't you time waste? But also because you know the referees are so weak. I said to you, 60 minutes in, there'll be 5 minutes at a time. Why? Because it's always 5 minutes. No matter what happens, it's always 5 minutes. Unless someone has a horrible injury, it's 5 minutes. And it was. Despite the fact, Joe Linton was down for cramp for about 6 minutes of the game.
I'd love it if someone could if someone in the chat, you'd be really, really able to do us a solid. If you could find out how much time the ball was in play tonight, I would be eternally grateful because I don't believe the ball was in play for more than 55 minutes. And for all their talk at the start of the season, we're going to cut down on time wasting at throw-ins and goal kicks and what have you. I watched the game last night with Pickford and he was time wasting from like the second goal kick. And the referee warned him on 23 minutes. What are you warning him for? Walking back to the halfway line with your finger in the air like that. It's called booking.
If you do that, you know how you'd really stop it? He's put a mad added time on. It's going no, as in like if you're the referee, they go, you've been acting the bollocks, all of you. You've been rolling around, you've been taking the piss. Right? What's the added time? 12 minutes. Trust me, if you could put 12 minutes on, teams will then be a bit cuter of how they time waste and make it more subtle. Because they're blatant now. You go over. Yeah. Kieran B says, we weren't brave enough. Too much safe play in the first 50 minutes. I know Newcastle had a very low block, but someone needs to take a player on and have a go at them. Too much passing back. I agree with the safeness because that was my frustration. It was a bit too safe, and I think it gave Newcastle an out. So, Kev, half time, we're 1-0 down. We've been here before. Well, we've been here 8 times out of 9. Fuck me, we're getting used to it. We're getting used to being behind, and you're thinking 1-0 down. This could be 5 points from 6 games. What do you think about the season? I'm sort of thinking it's vanishing.
Where's Red Steve vanishing?
Someone say, right, there we go. We're going to do our...
We've got to do the housekeeping, boys and girls.
The housekeeping. And then we can talk about the fun of the second half because we're building up to that. So IP vanished for you guys. So you guys all know by now that, and if you don't know, you'll soon know. If you browse online in incognito mode, you're not actually got any privacy. You basically, without security, you're giving away all your data to hackers, advertisers, and other undesirables. So if you have IP Vanish, it's a VPN to make you truly private and secure on the internet. IP Vanish helps your internet be 100% encrypted, and it protects everything from your private details, your browsing history, communications, and everything else from all the undesirable people you don't want to give it to. IP Vanish, you can use it on unlimited devices. You don't have to sacrifice speed. You can use it on computers, tablets, phones, and you can use it on Fire Sticks with streaming services. Whether you're at home or in the public, don't go anywhere with IP Vanish. It's dead to use. One click of a button and you're on. You don't even know it's on. And these guys are 4.6 out of 5 on Trustpilot. And the offer for Trippers is 70% of their yearly plan. And listeners get a 30-day money-back guarantee. So you're basically getting 9 months for free. So if you want it, go to ipvanish.com/daytrippers. That's ipvanish.com/daytrippers. So there we go. Right. You one for you, Kev. Because I literally got sent this before. So Champions League soccer football tours is back and it's streaming out on Paramount Plus. So 9 months of heart-stopping football starts in September the 6th of all the biggest stars, top teams, and craziest fan bases all around Europe. Whichever match you want to watch, whether it's the group stage, the knockouts, you'll see Benzema. Can Real Madrid defend their title, which they beat us for, annoyingly? Or can Liverpool, City, Chelsea, PSG, Barcelona, and other great sides, nick it off them? So don't miss a single second of it and sign up to Paramount Plus. And there we go. If you go to paramountplus.com, you can start. I think we worked out, was it £7 a month? Wasn't particularly
expensive. It's £7 a month. It's $10 a month anyway. But so I know that.
So you pay $10 a month for Paramount Plus. You get your IP Vanish at 70% off. You're a winner. Yeah. What more can you want? What more can you want? Right, I'm gonna have a can. You could do the last one.
Yeah, because look, I don't need a can. But hey, how well would you take care of your car if you had to keep the same one your entire life? That's how our brains work. So why don't we learn to treat them that way? Look, I mean, at the end of the day, this is a plug really for BetterHelp. And it's something that a lot of people, mainly men, but everybody really don't talk about it. And we bottle things up. And when something's wrong, some grand. But there are people out there that can help. BetterHelp provides online therapy. They provide it through video, if you like, through phone, through live chat, which probably would suit an awful lot of people, where if you're not comfortable having a face-to-face discussion talking about your mental health, then sometimes an online chat is a good way to get to make a breakthrough with it. So you don't even have to see anyone. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy. You can be matched with a therapist within 48 hours. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/daytrippers. That's betterhelp.com/daytrippers. And look, it's something that you take seriously, whether you take up this offer or not. If there's a problem, then, problem shared is a problem halved. And there's nothing wrong with, someone says, how you doing? Sometimes it's okay to say you're not okay. It's always good to do that, but it is what it is.
Okay.
Right.
There's a few rumours going around that Klopp has confirmed Henderson is injured, his hamstring. I don't know if that's true, but never raise my paws, Kev.
Yeah, we'll see.
But I'm sure
it's such as life. I mean, at the end of the day, we're playing the same 11, more or less, because of the situation that we're in. We're playing the same 11 or 12 players for the first 5 games of the season, and it is a quick turnaround. But despite what anyone says, and every club up and down the league are suffering with these minor type of knocks at the minute, minor issues. You saw it with Kieran Trippier last weekend for Newcastle. There was a doubt over him tonight because he had a slight issue. So it's not uncommon for players to have these kind of issues at the start of a season. It's just more important that you get on top of it early, and it looks like we did by taking them off and give him a bit of time to recover. It was good to see Curtis on the bench tonight, and it was really good to see with the substitutes that came on made a difference again. It's
but on the other side, we might see Douglas Luiz moving in.
Scored tonight.
Brilliant. They still lost, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so. Did they? I don't know. Don't care.
It's just, do you know what I mean?
I was more engrossed in the second half at Anfield, to be honest, and I didn't have a clue what was going on in other games.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
For once, BT didn't flash up the scores like they normally do either. So no,
we didn't. So, but like I said, we've seen Milner do this a few times before, haven't we? Go off the hamstring, he plays the next game. So
yeah,
I hope they've got it. Yeah. Anyway, Kev. So we've done our housekeeping. Second half kicks off. No changes for either side. So you're a bit like, okay.
Yeah,
I thought they might have changed something. What was the change?
There were changes. There were changes in the way we played and how we played. You could tell with the positions that Bobby was taking up, he wasn't dropping deep or as deep. And Diaz and Salah were very close together for a lot of the second half. And the more and more we pushed, the closer and closer they got together. It was telling. You know, I mean, we were asked earlier on what we thought about the offside goal. That was pretty much it. That's all they did in the second half. And once Isak went off, yeah, they had the aerial threat where they were winning first balls, but we were swallowing up the second balls. You know, we'd switched right on to that in the second half. And
Joelinton the human cramp he was. I've never known a man to get cramp so much.
Yeah, there's a few things that annoyed me. Look, I get the players went down with cramp, and at the end of the day, if the referee wants to stop the game for that, then, you know, that's up to him. But I certainly wouldn't be stopping for a player who goes down with basic lack of fitness. You know, because that's what cramp is. It's basically because you're not fit enough is why you go down with cramp. That's it.
Yeah, so... this is an interesting one. Bob is anonymous apart from the goal. I don't agree second half.
No.
First half, I thought he was a bit quiet. Second half, I thought he was heavily involved. I actually thought he was really involved.
You carry on chatting about Bobby. I've got to go and do something.
You're getting a can, aren't you? He's leaving me again. So, though I thought Bobby was heavily involved, I mean, we'll talk about the goal. It was all 1 and 2 touch football. Salah into Firmino, a lovely finish. And look, Bobby now two home games in a run now. He's scored, which is grand, really. That's what you want from Bobby. I thought he was really heavily involved when we did the triple sub, because I mean, let's be honest, Kev, it was pretty much 4-1-5. It was very, very attacking, which I think, as you said to me, it was shit or bust a little bit. Which my argument was, it's annoying that shit or bust after fucking 5 games, but the manager substitutions told the story, which was, we need the win, and we need the win now. So, chase both fullbacks, which made sense. Tsimikas comes on the back of 2 assists, which makes sense. Trent got took off because it just wasn't happening for him at all. So we put Milner right back, and then we're very attacking midfield of Carvalho, Elliott, and Fabinho. And it was to be honest, mate, it was really entertaining.
I got a feeling.
Bit hard and scared him, but it was really entertaining.
I got a feeling that is going to be the midfield in a couple of years' time.
Could very well be.
I honestly 100% believe that that's the forward planning that we got a glimpse of tonight. That you're going to have your 2 8s are going to be Carvalho and Harvey Elliott, and you saw what mayhem they can create. It was just, for me, an example of what's possible when everyone's right. I mean, can you imagine you had those two and you put Thiago behind them, or a Thiago type distributor of a ball? I mean, my God, that's going to be hilarious.
Chris wants to know, do we think Klopp drops Bobby for the derby? I'm not sure he will, really. He's 2 and 2. I sort of feel like possibly not.
Yeah, I don't know.
But the one thing with Núñez is he gives us an aerial threat, a physical threat, which Everton have sort of shown in the early seasons they're not a big fan of, especially from set pieces. Assuming we can learn not to do floaty high balls, which were really irritating. Yeah. And so Chill says, is Van Dijk undroppable? Not for me. I think Yumi will talk about it, Kev, saying his form's not great. But at the moment, we haven't.
No, it was all right tonight. He was all right. It was all right tonight. It was okay. Some of his passing was a bit off, but I thought the thing is, all right for Virgil is 8 out of 10 for everyone else.
Yeah, I actually thought Gomez did well though. I think that's another good performance. Not great, but a good performance. And look, Isaac played off him because most people play on the other centre back, but it's not
Yeah.
Virgil van Dijk. And I thought he handled that quite well. His passing was pretty good.
Isaac is deceivingly quick, isn't he, for a big man?
Oh, I mean the offside goal where he turns Robertson and Gomez and slots it. You know, it's great skill.
Yeah.
Great skill. And that's not something that
close.
Are offside. It was close.
It was close. It was close, but even on first glance, I thought it was off. You know, it just looked off. But like
the linesman did. But again, the linesman they indicated well is the linesman gives it.
Let's talk about our first goal, because our first goal.
We've done that. You ran off for a can. You missed that. Your chance.
Shut up. Our first goal was the most simplistic bit of football I've seen us play in a long time. One pass through the lines, go. It was just simple, wasn't it? It was just like bang, 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 go. And it was so well taken. Ball up to Mo, and he rolled it back. It was Joe Linton nearly got a foot on it. And just the calmness of Bobby to place it into the corner. Absolutely delighted for him. It's 2-2 now. And you could tell he was made up with it, but it was the players didn't over celebrate. It was like, yeah, that's one. We need a second now. And we just kept going and going and going. And we had half chances. There was one do you remember the Diaz one? When he had the shot and it was going into the corner, but Trippier got a foot on it. I thought, you know, when you see those moments, you're like, oh, it's just, that's a heart sinker for me, because it's like, that's the kind of one, it's just not your night. You know, it's just one of those. We're going to come away, we're going to have a 1-1, and we're going to come on here, and we're going to be like, the. And then, you know, Carvalho has his Divock Origi moment.
Yeah, we'll come to that. I mean, I feel talk about Henson with his injury.
Yeah.
I think the Henson hamstring injury is, and again, I don't think anyone's not said Liverpool don't need to add at least one midfielder this summer. We've all said that, because the risk is you end up overplaying players who pick up a knock. And unfortunately, I think that's what's happened. Like we said, hopefully he's caught it early and it's not too serious, and maybe it's only a game he misses out. But it's annoying because now it's another play you're waiting to come back for, and it's a very tight 24 hours. But look, it just felt like it wasn't. It felt like a bit like the Palace game. A lot of huff, a lot of puff, but not sure this equalizer's coming. And I said to you, Gomez committed the cardinal sin, which I can't stand, which is doing a fucking Lovren. I have no time for any player who doesn't score goals regularly, which is generally a centre-back, who thinks, 92nd minute, I've never scored a goal, but I'm going to try a first-time volley from the edge of the area. You're like, oh, fuck off. I think I've only ever seen it come off once. And that was against us. That was Jagielka,
yeah.
But you're like going 9 times out of 10, they go in the cop, or as I call doing the Lovren in the FA Cup semi-final, which is which just made me lose my shit. So I was pretty resigned, going, look, it's corner after corner. The corners aren't going great, but well, the point, 6 points for 5 games, great. Yeah. And then the cross comes in, and it's just a bit of mate, and Liverpool cause a bit of chaos. And I've got to be honest, I'm a bit like, that's what we used to do. Cause a bit of chaos. Salah's involved. Now, I've got to admit, I only saw the goal on the replay because I saw the missed times headed by Salah, and the next thing I saw was the ball in the net. So I ran off, screaming, celebrating, waking the whole house up, getting told off by my missus, which I don't think she's forgiven me for, to be fair. So I'm definitely in the spare room. So I thought, I assumed it was a header. And then you see, wow.
What a
finish. What a hit.
What a hit.
And he's been threatening to do that the 3 games beforehand, before he got his goal against Bournemouth. And you're going like, welcome to Liverpool, Fabio Carvalho. That is making an arrival. It's an unreal finish. And not the problem with Fabio Carvalho is, because I know there'll be a clamp for him to start, but at the moment, with the limited resources we have, because of Jota being injured, Nunes being suspended, he's the perfect impact sub at the moment. Because wherever we put him on, midfield, wide, you're a bit on the edge of your seat thinking, a bit like Diaz, you're thinking, something's going to happen here. And Carvalho's doing that. You know, Tom Boland, he had his Collymore moments. He did have his Collymore moments. There's one for the youngsters. And I love this one from Hannah. Fabio was asked about his Newcastle time wasted. Let's not talk about them. Let's talk about us. That's a perfect mature answer.
I absolutely love that.
That's the sort of stuff you go, and I quite like that. That's what I like. But yeah, that goal, Kev. I mean, I wish I was at Anfield for that. Because
it's one of those. It's one of those moments that a player will absolutely dream of. You know, especially if you're signing for Liverpool, you'll have seen all of the games. You'll have seen the Barcelona game. You'll have seen the Everton games where the 96th minute winner and the place erupts. And it's the absolute best time to score a goal because it kills it. It's a killer and it sucks the life out of him. Even if there was a minute to go, it doesn't matter. The irony is, it was their shithousery that gave us the time. Because when Joe Gomez had that flash shot,
that should have been game over.
That should have been game over, and they should have managed a couple of minutes and seen it out. But because they fell around like, you know, dying flies who've been sprayed with mosquito spray, it's like it was perfect. It really was perfect, and it was exactly what we deserved. Because for the vast majority of that game, we were the ones who were trying to win it. Especially in the second half, we threw the kitchen sink at it. The only thing we didn't do was send Alisson up for a corner, you know, and it was like we did
bit early in the season for that, but yeah,
but we did everything but. And at the end of the day, their time wasting cost them. And I hope the other sides take a look at that and think, you know, Watson, it's just not worth it. Play the game. Just play the game. You're not as clever as you think you are, and you got what you deserved. You know, you came, you had a good go, and you got nothing for it because of your own stupidity.
Dave Drozon says, "Do we think Kostas has to start?" He's saying yes.
Depends on how Robbo's recovery is.
Because I know he got 2 assists against Bournemouth, you know, which was no problem. We were about 7-0 up at the time, but I'll be honest, I've not been very impressed with Tsimikas when he's come off as a sub. I just think he's been not great. But to be honest, neither's Robbo. And I think he should go with Robbo because he's tried and tested and he's probably a little bit better defensively. GN makes a good point. The only thing that would have made it better if it was at the Kop end. I think that's the only thing that would have made that goal perfect. But, you know, made up for that. That's what you want. You know, new, young signing. He's now got 2 goals.
Where are you going?
It's brilliant.
But where are you going, in all fairness? It's like, he's on a high now. What's that? 2-2. And it's not... It's the fact that he's coming off the bench and he's making an impact. You know, he
sets up the Salah goal at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's 3 goal involvements in 3 games, to be fair to him.
It's perfect because my biggest worry for him was coming up from the Championship. Can he step up to the level? You know, it's easy to look good in the Championship when you're the dominant side, you've got most of the ball, and you're playing with a striker like Mitrovic, who's scoring goals for fun, and he makes everybody looks good on the back of it. You know, it's just one of those issues that when a player comes up from the Championship, it's always in the back of my head, can he take it on? Is Charlie there saying, can't find how much the ball was in play, Kev? Yeah, Charlie.
Sorry, Charlie, that's it. We have to ban you from the chat now. Kev set you a task. He's a very hard taskmaster. That's it now.
No, he's good. It's good stick. But no, what it was, someone in the chat actually came up with they reckon it's about 61 minutes the ball was in play for. You know, it just goes to show. And I mean, you look at the amount of times that we were just looking to take quick throw-ins, quick free kicks. The only thing that actually disappointed me in the second half, when we made the substitutions, we were quite short, you know, physically.
You and me both said that.
And if you're putting balls into the box from corners for Virgil and basically Fabinho, I thought we could have been smarter around corner routines and stuff like that. But look, that's just a nitpicker. At the end of the day, we've taken 3 points. We're up to 5th in the league. We're despite the United performance, more or less, we've dominated most games. And you've got Nunes to come back in. Nunes was to be sat in the sidelines thinking, I am never missing time out for my own stupidity again.
No,
because the amount of chances that we're creating in and around the box, he's got to be licking his lips. I think he does start on Saturday. Just to, you know, we're nearly going to finish up in a minute, but I think he does start on Saturday. I think with the volume of games that are coming up, when Klopp can rotate, I think he will. It wouldn't surprise me if Kostas comes in.
Hopefully, Josh will be on the bench.
Yeah, exactly. Like Curtis tonight was on the bench, but hopefully he'll be able to take part in he'll be able to make an appearance off the bench on Saturday, and then more again midweek.
Yeah, and the hope is the Henson injury is only a niggle. Look, at some point, unless we sell him in the next 24 hours, which I know some of the comments were happy with us. Kate, whenever he appears, is still there, but I know some were happy with us with our Nick taking the big get. Okay, I think the truth is, I don't think none of us think he's injured. It feels it's just too convenient. I wonder if they're trying to sell him, but we'll see. Klopp post-match says we have another problem with Hendo. He felt his hamstring. That's obviously is not helpful. No, it's not. But we are where we are, and
just have to deal with it. We've with day tomorrow to see if we can do anything.
And in the nicest way,
if we can, we can. If we can't, we can't.
If we don't get anyone, Klopp and the club need to find a way of working with what they've got. Yeah, exactly. I've no sympathy either way, because I'm like going, the whole collective put themselves in that situation. So we'll do with that. Before we talk, people do want to talk a couple of transfer things, so we will talk about it. But firstly, the two wide lads, Luis Diaz and Salah, we haven't really spoke about them. I thought both of them showed flashes. I think it's probably the nice way of that. I mean, Salah, although I think he was quite quiet for Salah, actually he's got 2 assists.
Yeah, he was effective.
Which is effective. He's staying very wide. I feel like that's under instruction. He's not cutting in as much. I felt when we got the balls to Luis Diaz, he did cause Trippier some problems, which, to be fair, takes some doing, because Trippier's a good defender.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Kieran Trippier has actually really impressed me since he's come back from Atletico. That time that he spent in Spain, he's improved. He's improved a lot. I mean, he's overlooked because we talk about Trent, we talk about Reece James, and you talk about Kyle Walker, and Kieran Trippier is overlooked as a legit fullback. He's very, very good.
His free kicks are very good as well.
Yeah, and the one where he tested Alisson in the first half, it was straight at him. But they're the kind of ones that can take a deflection off the wall and make a keeper look silly.
The other thing that helps someone like a Trippier go into like a World Cup is he's not bad at left back either.
Exactly, yeah.
A multifunctional defender is always really handy. Owen Newell says Douglas Luiz and Tielemans seem to be the most they seem to be the names that are getting a bit of traction in terms of. There's obviously one of the papers have reported that as a club has bid £19 million. They won't say which one. There's rumours that 2 PSV lads,
Sangare
and Sangare, will both be sold tomorrow. Yeah. Now, which Sangare's just signed a new contract, but I think because Rangers knocked them out, I would assume for PSV it's just literally an accountancy thing, which is we ain't got Champions League money, we can't afford both of them, so we need to sell them off. If you were me, I'd happily have both of them.
Would look
fancy football world, but
I think Cody Gakpo is he'd be a good squad option. He'd be a good squad filler. Sangare would be a backup, but he really is not. He's good. He's all right. He might kick on. He's very Idris Gana Gueye when he was at Everton. That's who he reminds me a lot of. He's solid, dependable, and he's okay in the 6, but Christ, don't ask him to do anything else. And don't complicate it.
But if he's okay in the 6, then that's a way of resting Fabinho, and then the rest of the lads you're saying you will fight for the 8 spots, which at least then gives you that. I don't know if anyone in the chat can help me, but someone said there's some very interesting Gerrard comments about Douglas Luiz, which maybe thinks might be on the move. There's some very dubious sources saying Liverpool, but other than saying Atletico Madrid. So
I think Atletico Madrid are more likely. Whether Atletico can afford him is another question. They're really on the board. They're really borderline with what they're able to do, wage structure wise. And I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Douglas Luiz went in and you see someone go from there. But look, tomorrow I think across the league is going to be it's going to be busy. There's going to be a lot of business done tomorrow. If we're going to be involved, I hope we are. I think it's important that we do something, not to react to anything else. I just definitely think the squad needs a little bit of help. And if you can add to the squad, then, I think there's definitely players out there that will be moving tomorrow that can add depth to the squad.
Friend of the show, Emmett, Gerard says he can't control the Louise situation. We obviously don't want to lose our best player, but he only has a year left.
Okay, that to me says there's a release contract. There's a release clause.
Yeah, there's a release clause, or there's a bid, and he's told the club, I want to go.
Yeah.
So,
in fairness, it leaves Villa very short in that position because Coutinho was on the bench again tonight, and I don't think Gerrard trusts him at all.
Yeah, who'd have thunk? We should have re-signed him. Interesting.
Right, yeah.
Wouldn't be shocked if Jude pre-announcement being announced tomorrow, regardless of if we do it. I would be, because if I'm Dortmund, I don't think Dortmund. I'm not convinced. I don't think it. I think Liverpool obviously have had an indication that he wouldn't mind coming to Liverpool, but Dortmund aren't stupid. They'll wait till the summer, because if he has a good World Cup, there's another 20-30 million going on his price tag.
Yeah,
and everyone will be after him.
There was talk about this kind of a deal being done for, I think it's pronounced Carvalho. It's a centre back at Leipzig that Chelsea were linked with. They were talking 90 million euro. And I mean, he's 21 years of age. He probably would be a Thiago Silva replacement. But it's, and they distanced themselves from that today because, like you said, with the World Cup, anything can happen this season, and you'll always see players add to their value if they're good enough to after post the World Cup. So I don't see any kind of deals like that happen. What's Laura saying there?
Gerard, this is the exact quote. It's one of those touchy situations where the club has to do what's best for the club, not necessarily what is best for me.
That's a balance in the books issue.
Yeah, that's a book balancing issue. So, I mean,
Carvalho 90 million to Chelsea pre-deal. Yeah, apparently the I think it's Leipzig. They distance themselves massively from that. So I don't see that happening. Well, it might happen next summer, but the way Chelsea have thrown around money this summer, Chelsea need to recoup some money this window.
It feels like Chelsea are front loaded.
And they're still short in midfield, which is shocking for the amount of money they spent over $250 million this window, and they're still short a striker, and they're still short a centre mid. That's shocking business.
Afo says last minute winner, and then Chris and Kev talking football. Kev and I getting any better? I'm on the cans. Yeah,
the night can definitely get better. I'm off tomorrow. Tonight can definitely get better, I promise you.
Yeah, I've got a lovely 6:00 start tomorrow. So
anyway, what else do you want to talk about, Chris?
I'll talk about anything, mate. Doesn't bother me. I'll work on 2 hours sleep. So it's
all right. No, listen, everyone else in the chat is going to need to get a nice kip as well. The only thing is, if you want, guys, just fire in names who you think realistically Liverpool could do tomorrow.
Do what Gav did last night. Who would you think will sign, and who would you like us to sign? Because quite often they're very different. The only thing I would say is, look, I've seen this a little bit now on social media, so I think this is how I see it. Listen, you're all adults, do what you want. These Twitter newsfeed accounts, put them in the bin, because I've now seen Mel Reddy call out 4 of them for misquoting her for saying Liverpool wanted Grameras in January, but Newcastle swooped, and I've listened to the interview. She says nothing of that ilk. The actual quote is along the lines of Liverpool were asked, blank piece of paper, players available, money's no option. Who would you want? And apparently Liverpool said Grameras is a player they liked, and they were amazed Newcastle got it done in January for that quick. And then her Man City source gave exactly the same answer. So. But that's not Liverpool went for him in January. That's just like blue sky thinking, he'd be brilliant.
Archie there saying Conor Gallagher would love to see as Gavin. Yeah, it would be interesting. I like Gallagher.
Yeah,
I do as well, but I don't think I think for 40 million quid or 40 million, I don't think you're getting anyone who's any better than Curtis Jones. And that's fine. But he's at the right age where he could develop and evolve. And he does help down the line with your homegrown.
Yeah. But I could see us going for I could more likely Liverpool spend 30-40 million on that young end.
Yeah.
I couldn't see us spending 30-40 million on a 29-year-old.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
No.
So Chris says, let's get Son just to annoy Spurs.
I'll tell you one thing. He doesn't look happy. In the way they're playing at the minute, I don't think Heung-min Son looks happy there at the minute.
I can't say I pay too much attention.
Just a feeling.
I know we're doing well.
Landon, they're saying Chelsea new official bid for Pierre Aubameyang has been received by Barcelona right now, as mentioned in this afternoon. Again, Marcus Alonso is part of the deal. Yeah, no, Alonso is desperate to go there. They're desperate to get Alonso.
Ooh,
and
James Milner saying Liverpool news at 11. No, is that 11 a.m. or 11 p.m.? Let us know, James, because it's 11 p.m.
Well, if it's 11 p.m., we're going to hang on for the extra 2 minutes. Anyway.
Yeah, if it's 11 a.m., I'll be honest, I'll be in work. So
if it's 11:05, then you're blocked, and we're never.
Laura Duffy agrees with you that she thinks Son looks unhappy as well.
Yeah, he just does. He just doesn't. I don't think he likes this system. I don't think this system suits him.
There was a rumor that Liverpool were looking at him as a potential attacking target
if Salah goes.
It was also if Spurs didn't make top four, because I think they were kind of like there'd be an option, a bit like people think with Arsenal, which hasn't really happened.
Oh, for God's sake!
It's from Indy, lads. Oh, come on!
No, if it's from Indy, we're staying. If it's from Indy, we're staying.
We love Indy.
We love Indy. Indy is the bomb. We love Indy.
If you just don't take it too seriously and take it for what it is, it's really funny.
Yeah, exactly. But listen, on the Mel Reddy stuff, Mel Reddy isn't the only one. I think Ornstein has called out a few as well. And it's like, look, I've been caught a few times by these people, and it drives me mad that they're literally doing it for shits and giggles and clicks and money and ad revenue. And at the end of the day, each to their own. Different people generate content however the hell they like. That's up to them, But it's like, this is a stressful time for fans, and we're all looking for snippets of who we think Liverpool could go for. And these people are literally playing people off each other, standing back and just say, aren't we great? And it's like, it's just, nah, it's not for me. It really isn't. And that's the one thing that I like about the Trippers, the fact that we can have a grown-up disagreement, chat about it, and then we'll figure out that I'm right and Chris is wrong. So we get there in the end.
But you eventually come to my way of thinking, so you'd be fine.
Yeah, keep thinking that. So it's 11 o'clock. What's the story, guys? Who's the?
Oh, do you want to hear a saltiness? Alan Shearer, 5 minutes injury time. They score of the 98th minute and zips his mouth.
Oh, I love it.
I love when that minimum stoppage time actually comes back to bite you in the arse.
Yeah, I'll be honest, Shearer's never got over some of the 4-3s, has he?
No. Listen, the best Shearer situation was when he was managing Newcastle and they got relegated. And I think we were like 3-0 up, and we literally just started going. The cops started singing, "You should have stayed in the telly." Now I'll give Shearer his due. He did laugh at that and have a thought. Oh, Charlie the Red says, "Man the match." We'll come to that in a minute.
Cool, we'll definitely get there.
Anti chill. Indy Kyle. Here we go, guys. You know what's happening. Douglas Luiz asked Aston Villa to leave the club. Liverpool to hold a meeting with Aston Villa tomorrow morning. Moise Caicedo, second bid rejected in the last few minutes. Oh,
I'll tell you what. Let's do the man of the match.
Let's talk about. Go on. I think it's easy, really, but
do you know what? I would give it to Harvey.
That's who I want.
Based purely on his second half performance. Because I didn't think he did enough in the first half to disrupt them.
I thought he was the best of the bad bunch in the first half.
It's part of a midfielder's job to do the other stuff as well as go on the attack. I think he was brilliant in the second half. He was a completely different player in the second half. But in the first half, I honestly 100% believe the game passed him by. But look, I mean, I was delighted with his overall performance.
Emmett saying player of the season so far. It's an interest.
Yeah, I mean, for us, he is definitely 100%.
The area where Harvey still needs to work on it. I think he still needs to do better off the ball defensively. Yeah. But look, he's 19.
Yeah, he's still learning the game.
No one's perfect at 19.
No,
but he's got that nice that little dribble about him, that little look and a clever pass in him. And look, he got a goal last week, so hopefully he's going to have more to it. I mean, listen, he looks player of the season so far. I think Carvalho at the moment just looks more and more of a steal.
He does, doesn't
he? Obviously, he's just got something about him. You just go like, this guy just looks exciting.
I'll give an honourable mention to Alexander Isak, by the way. I think. He's not a cheap. He's not a cheap signing by any stretch. But at 23 years of age, with the experience that he's got under his belt, if they can keep him fit, I firmly believe Newcastle will push the top 6 this season. I firmly believe, especially with the fact that they don't have Europe, that they can focus solely on the league and throw the kitchen sink at it. I think they'll be well in the shout for a European spot this year, if not break in a bit higher. But for us, Harvey Elliott, Bobby did better in the second half. Diaz was busy. Fabinho was better and more progressive in the second half. Joe Gomez had a hard night tonight. I mean, there's not too many times you're going to come up against players of the physical size.
Well, that'll do him good coming through a hard night, because that's it. The only way you're going to test him, his level of fitness and robustness is. And look, I'll be honest, he's going to have a very different battle on Saturday because, to be fair to Everton, it's more about pace. Mope's quick, Gordon's quick when he's on his feet, Gay's quick as well. So that's kind of what we're looking at, really, isn't it? So, right,
anyway, tomorrow night,
11.
Yeah,
bedtime for me now because I've got to go to work. I've got to go to work.
Tomorrow night, the lads are going to be on with the viewer's voice, and you're also going to get the last hour of the transfer window in the show as well. So make sure you're there for that.
When Liverpool sign 4 players on deadline day, and it'd be well exciting. It's not going to happen.
Oh man, can you imagine?
Can you imagine listen, do I hope for? Could be really funny. Hopefully, better players. But do you remember when we had no centre backs? We tried to sign 3 fellas on the last day. I mean, literally, we signed 2 pretty average players, but it was quite exciting.
Yeah, exactly. Wonder where Video O'Connor goes tomorrow. That'll be the tell.
That'll be the sell. But also, does he have to stand at the gate at the access stick? Because you won't know if the lights are on because it's fucking miles away from the gate. So, Vinny could be stood there with nobody opening. Right, on that happy note, listen, ultimately, Liverpool have gone back to back. We've got 98th minute winner. Newcastle fans, particularly Alan Shearer, are really pissed off, which, quite frankly, makes me happy. So until then, we're back on Friday. So
we're back on Friday.
We'll see you Friday. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.